Welcome to this presentation of UPSL Soccer Action, live on YouTube and presented by the Atlantic Soccer Media Group.
Welcome in to Marietta, Georgia. The Children's Healthcare of Atlanta training ground is the site. Big match in the UPSL Georgia top division today. The Atlanta United Academy facing KSA Pro Profile. My name's Jason Longshore alongside Steven Johnson. And Steven, let's set the scene for these two teams today. Big game with playoff implications.
Yeah, huge implications. Atlanta United currently second place on the table, just 1 point behind Starlet's Dalton United, up against their opponents in Kalonji Pro Profile. They got a little bit of catching up to do, only 5 matches played, but so far they're on course to potentially take a title battle.
It's going to be a very interesting one with these two teams knowing each other so well. Two very different styles of play on display this afternoon.
Yeah, certainly so. I mean, especially for those of you guys who were tuning in last week with Atlanta United Academy up against North Georgia at their home pitch, they looked like the most technically competent team in this league. They can play the 1-2s. They can play through defenses like it was like they're just playing a game. And up against Kalonji Pro Profile, it's a team that really can do anything. They've got a lot of deep threats. They can cross balls in. They've got guys who can come up from that midfield to be a goal-scoring threat. However, we got to talk about this roster because there aren't a lot of starters here.
Welcome back. UPSL Georgia action on ASMG. Big one today. Atlanta United Academy, number 2 in the Premier Division coming into this one. KSA Pro Profile, number 6. But, Steven, they've got a lot of games in hand. It's a very busy portion of the schedule for the club.
Yeah, I mean, you're going to be seeing a lot of roster rotation going on. I mean, just coming from another league last night, Kalonji Pro Profile, they've got so much soccer to play. They've got makeup games versus Rovers, City, and Legends, not to mention a match next week versus North Georgia. Thankfully, a bye in Week 11 will give them a little bit of time to fit some games in here, but a lot of games in hand and potentially a lot of points left to earn.
Yeah, you look at the table, and you might be distracted by 2nd versus 6th here. KSA Pro Profile, points per game, they can be at the top. They still have a shot to get into one of those automatic bye spots. When you look at the table, the top 2 teams will get a bye in the first round of the playoffs, 3 versus 6, 4 versus 5. And that battle to get that bye is always very intense and very important.
Yeah, I mean, just giving the opportunity to watch your first-round opponents play, especially when not only the Premier Division title is on the line, but a trip into the national bracket. is, of course, a prize that most of these teams will be going after. But yeah, I think right now when we're looking at who's going to be the champions of the regular season, who's going to make those top two, I think it's this top three race. I think it's Kalonji, Atlanta United, and Dalton. And today's match will go a long way for helping us paint the picture for what the top two is going to look like.
This is a group with the Atlanta United Academy that has been around that title race for quite a while. This is a group that is pretty much entirely heading to college in the fall, and they want to finish their time with Atlanta United on a high. Atlanta United will be in the all black with red trim, moving from left to right on your screen. KSA Pro Profile in the all white, moving from right to left. Let's kick it for 45 from Marietta, Georgia. Thanks for hanging out with us on the ASMG YouTube page. Alongside Steven Johnson, I'm Jason Longshore. KSA Pro Profile in the back. We'll see how they handle things. We know what the Atlanta style of play will be. They want the ball. They're going to try to win the ball back as quickly as possible. KSA Pro Profile will vary that up at times. Sometimes they will play a high pressing, very direct style. Sometimes they will play a lot of possession and keep it.
Yeah, I think that really comes down to who do they have in their midfield and how do they set up. Usually that midfield three for Kalonji, they play that attacking midfielder, usually Dante up top, who basically can act as that shadow striker at times. Or sometimes they'll bring Pavlotsky back as that holding midfielder and play a bit further off.
Yeah,
right now, it looks like they're starting aggressive.
Yeah, this is a very aggressive midfield with Junior Sandoval and Kevin Barajas joining Pavlotsky. Right now it's Mark Binot down the left side, corner of the 18, top of the 18 now. Closed down quickly, and Atlanta wants to break. Smart foul there to break that up by Pavlotsky.
Yeah, quick play out of the back there, just trying to find something here. Atlanta United, it'll be interesting to see once they get the ball a little bit more, can they break down a very resilient defense this so far this season from Kalonji Pro Profile. And they definitely got the talents to play through defense, but this is definitely another challenge altogether.
These are the games for a young team. This is why Atlanta United put their academy team into this league to get these kind of games. It's one thing to work on the style of play and a game model. It's another to put it into execution against a team at this kind of quality and with this much experience as well. When you have a Junior Sandoval on the pitch, you're talking about a guy with serious caps at the professional level and he's played everywhere. And when you have somebody like that who can control a game, it's a good experience for these kids, and that's what you're looking for the Atlanta United side.
Yeah, and I think that's really what sets this league apart. Atlanta United quickly picking up a bad ball, but Pavlotsky, that is your interception machine there in the midfield.
Sandoval tries to switch it over to the left side, comes up a little short. Atlanta in possession, Joao Ramos. Ramos headed to the University of Michigan in the fall. State runner-up in high school with Walton High School. Had a couple of golazos in that match. Trace Higham on the left side. Higham across to Alvarez. Evan Alvarez knocked down by Sandoval. Opportunity here for Binot. Squares to Pavlotsky. Surveying his options, tries to slip a pass through. Offside. Wanted the foul, but offside first.
Yeah, I mean, when you're a striker, when you're in the box and you feel a little bit of push in the back, sometimes, you lose your feet a little bit. It's crazy how that happens.
Yeah, crazy how you lose your balance in those situations.
Absolutely wild. But you're already seeing that Kalonji Pro Profile are doing their best to enforce their style of play on this match. Atlanta want to get into your attacking third and play the quick passes. They aren't the most clinical when it comes to the long through ball, as you just noticed. Sample size of 1, but we're just getting into it today. So I'm curious to see how long Kalonji can keep this up, prevent Atlanta from playing into that very fluid front four they have.
Played back to Pleites. Into the middle, spinning around, Mohamed Diakite. Pass almost picked off by Sandoval. KSA Pro Profile trying to play out of their own half. They get it up top to Sordi. Emanuele Sordi spins it out to the right side. Junior Sandoval slowing the pace down. Diakite forward to Sordi, can't control the first ball. Battle for it, Sandoval tries to lay it off. Atlanta comes away with it. Higham. Back to Gonzalez, all the way back to Kyle Jansen. Jansen was away with South Africa's U17 national team recently. Gets this one back from Evan Alvarez. Jansen looking for Gabe Nickerson. He spins around to his left but can't find a handle. Diakite back to Pleites.
Yeah, so far Atlanta United are doing a really good job of possessing that ball in their own third, but it's just that connection that they're lacking right now. They haven't yet figured out how do we get through the midfield of Kalonji. Big ball over the top here for KPP.
Big switch by Diakite. Brought down by Beno. Beno tries to hit the through ball to Sorty. He gets on the end of it. Sorty wants to curl back to his right, has Beno there to help. Good defending from Bane Smith doubling down. Junior Sandoval, the little stutter step. Can't come away with it. Long range shot over the bar. Jorge Sandoval had that opportunity for Atlanta United to turn, couldn't pull it off.
Yeah, as much as it's been Kalonji controlling the ball in their opposition's halves, one thing I've noticed is that they're definitely giving Atlanta United Academy a lot of respect right now. Even when they're breaking with the long balls over the top, the midfield's not dashing forward. They're holding position. Maybe one guy's coming up from up top, but they realize that we can't commit 5 to the attack. We can't put 3 people on the goal because Atlanta can hit us back the other way. So some opportunities early on for Kalonji, but they haven't been the highest quality, and I'm curious to see when those, that second and third midfielder, they start smelling blood here with the long shot goal.
Higham couldn't control long-range shot. One hopper into the hands of Kyle Jansen. Jansen rolls it out short. Ramos. Back to Gonzalez. Up the left side for Italo Jenkins. Back to Higham, back to Jenkins. Can Atlanta get out of their own half cleanly here? Cannot do it. Cisse to Diakite. KSA Pro Profile working it from left to right. Kevin Barajas. Cisse. Up the line, back to Cisse. Barajas under some pressure. Has Diakite to help. Pavlotsky. Atlanta not stepping up too high in their pressure. They're dropping a little bit more here. Long ball over the top for Sorty. That's going to be a corner. Good defending from Evan Alvarez, but Sorty earns the corner.
Yeah, interesting to see from Atlanta. You mentioned it. They're really not getting many men forward. They're not quite pressing all the way in the final third. And it looks like they're afraid a little bit or mindful of the KPP going over top with the long ball, because typically we see those fullbacks just playing overlaps for days.
Corner outswinger from the far side. Top of the 6, flicked on. Half cleared. Diakite back heel. Follow-up opportunity, shot wide. Higham knocks it out, though. Another corner for KSA Pro Profile. Scramble in the 18.
Sometimes you don't need to be skillful. Sometimes you just need to get lucky, especially with corner kicks coming across. Put it in that corridor of chaos, and sometimes it'll go back into the back of the net. Probably one of the best ways Kalonji could be looking to open up the scoring sheet. Here comes next.
Another outswinger, back post this time. Over hit. We had a push inside the 6-yard box. So free kick Atlanta.
I want to make a quick note here, especially for all you guys who were watching along last week up in North Georgia. Jansen going to be starting in the net. Villazon was our goalkeeper last week around. So other than that, most of the roster is pretty much the same. We got Smith subbing in for Wilson pregame. But besides that, Atlanta United Academy seem pretty confident in the roster they've got right now.
Higham across to Ramos. Ramos wants the big switch, has 2 options down the right side. Remy Okunlola. Cross, back post, over hit looking for Jenkins. Throw, KSA Pro Profile, but a good break that time from Atlanta.
Yeah, maybe actually lulling Kalonji's backline into a little bit of a false sense of security by not making those moves up the side. Because when the fullbacks finally start darting forward, he basically had enough room to start his own farm. Like, that's just acres of space here on the right side. And if they can connect that with a quick pass back into the midfield, that's how they get on the board.
Blocked clearance into the air. Smith gets a touch. Can he control? Yes. Atlanta United trying to explore the final third now. Back heel into the 18. Shot. Goal, goal, goal. Atlanta United Academy They take the early lead in the 10th minute.
And they do it in the most Atlanta United way possible. They just haven't been able to get the ball into the final third, but when they can, it is a thing of beauty. Just a deft little, I think just the back heel for the 1-2 pass, running straight through, completely loses his man. Yeah, beautiful. Takes the touch around the goalkeeper. Call him as you like. Atlanta United 1-0.
Smith with the back heel, Wharton with the goal. And Atlanta United's academy gets the early lead. We'll see how much KSA Pro Profile opens up in response.
Yeah, I mean, it's still very early on in the match, and these are two of the most explosive, high-powered offenses, I believe, averaging about 3 goals a game aside. Only 1 goal against for the defense, so already Kalonji showing a few battle scars. But if there's one thing Kalonji has, it is options. They've got a very interesting roster out there today, and they've got a full bench looking at halftime, so curious to see, what's worked from what's not. That's definitely not worked for him.
Pavlovsky's pass picked off. Here comes Atlanta into the 18, trying to get that cross in. KSA Pro Profile somehow keeps it in off the end line. They want to break. Higgum steps up to press, doesn't work. Junior Sandoval driving through the midfield, lays it off down the right side. Opportunity here for Beno. There's actually Camden on that right side for KSA Pro Profile, but he can't turn the corner. Throw Atlanta United.
Yeah, a little bit worrying in the back line for Kalonji Pro Profile. Pavlovsky, I called him the interception machine. Fortunately, seems to be going a little bit both ways, forcing them and conceding. But what Kalonji needs to do is they need to keep their heads calm. They're away at a very intense pitch here at Atlanta United's training facility. They just need to keep playing their game, and they'll find opportunities. But if they start to panic, that is when Atlanta are going to get more chances to get into that final third. And that first goal is going to be, one of many to come.
Evan Alvarez up the right side to Bain Smith. Smith was the youngest U12 to join the first U12 team for Atlanta United back in 2016, and he's into the 18 now. Bain Smith with the goal. Goal, 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 Atlanta United. Baines Smith, a lifer here in the Atlanta United Academy, gets the goal.
Yeah, beautiful ball in. I mean, Smith with a phenomenal touch right there again, but it is this ball just over the top, not too far, not too short. Just give Smith plenty of room to slot that ball past the keeper. I mean, when you're one-on-one like that, you'd expect your forwards put in the back of the net, but still ice flowing through the veins there as they move Atlanta United up 2-0 over Kalonji.
Smith heading up I-75 to Lexington, Kentucky in the fall. He will feature for the University of Kentucky alongside center back Joel Gonzalez. This starting lineup for Atlanta United's academy, all of them except for the goalkeeper heading to play college ball in the fall. KSA Pro Profile down 2. Smith forces a turnover momentarily. Okunlola helps him win it back. Remy Okunlola across the middle. Wharton cuts back, left-footed curler wide.
Cheeky little fake shot there. Goes for the windup, stops it, tries to place it around the goalkeeper. Can't quite put it on frame, but Kalonji Pro Profile. This back line is opening up in a way it just hasn't before. Center back is pulled out because the fullback gets played around, opens up the space in the top of midfield, and because they're starting to push their midfield forward to find that equalizer, they leave that spot where the holding midfielder usually is.
The run off the ball from Gabe Nickerson opened up a lot of space. Turnover. Here comes Atlanta once again. Played through the middle, overhit that time, intended for Gabe Nickerson. Playtez rolls it out to the right side. Giroux up the right flank to Camden. Back to Giroux. Fiore trying to settle things down for KSA. Long ball down the right. Gonzalez is going to run it down, put it over the touchline onto another field, and we'll have a throw for KSA Pro Profile in the 14th minute.
Yeah, they're just trying to go direct. They realize that they're conceding the ball too much, trying to get the ball from the back line into the midfielders, and that's giving Atlanta United way too nice of opportunities to find that goal. So they're just going over top and saying, hey, we're either going to get the ball or we're going to press you for it in your own third, but Atlanta United still calm as you like on the ball.
Win it back quickly, open it up to the right side to Smith. Slows it down all the way back to Jansen. Gonzalez. Evan Alvarez. Alvarez has spent a little bit of time training with the first team here at Atlanta United, as a number of these players have over the years. Gonzalo Pineda likes to bring the young academy players into the training group. Seen Alvarez out there recently. Great opportunity for him as he prepares to move on to Coastal Carolina in the fall. Here comes Evan Alvarez. Through ball, looking for the run of Jorge Sandoval. Pleites took a deflection there. Wharton brings it down. Can't find Sandoval with the follow-up pass. Nickerson dropped into cover for Sandoval. Here comes KSA Pro Profile down the right side. Junior Sandoval. Pavlotsky. Across to Cisse, and now Binot. Nowhere to go, drops it inside to Kevin Barajas. Barajas played at the University of Kentucky as well. Drops that back to Fiore. Sandoval knocks it out wide to the right. Giroux. Sandoval. Pavlotsky spins to his right, passes forward. Opportunity here for KSA Pro Profile. Edge of the attacking third, Giroux. Back out to the right side to Wilfred Camden. Camden pulls it back, left-footed cross overhit. Bane Smith has work to do here to get out of his defensive third. Barajas closes him down. Smith can't find Okunlola, but gets a little bit of a lucky slip there. Okunlola finds Nickerson. Nickerson knocks it forward, but couldn't get control there. Throw KSA Pro Profile.
Yeah, KSA, they just get, it's almost this collective confidence when one or two guys get past the defenders, when you have that extra step over, when you have that extra pullback that works, everyone just gets that energy. But unfortunately, it was that last cross that let them down, put that around. But one thing I want to say, especially about the Atlanta United defense, and something I noticed about them before, is especially in their own half, they do such a good job of making the field small. They bring guys, they crowd the ball so you can't find the short passes. And so far, Kalonji, they haven't been able to find that switch to break through. They've had to play it back and had to play it around. So right now, Atlanta, they're forcing the game to be on their terms, that you're going to have to try to play through us or just give us the ball.
Camden knocks that into the middle, played one more time to Binot. Overlapping run from Cisse. Delivers to him in the 18. Cisse back to Binot, can't control. Jorge Sandoval passes to Wharton. Back to Jorge Sandoval. State champion at Johnson High School once again this year. Jorge Sandoval, one of the best players in the state of Georgia in the high school game. He'll be headed to the University of North Georgia in the fall. Okunlola. Alvarez. Splits the lines, finds Sandoval. Sandoval opens it up down the left side. Jenkins. Jenkins turns that corner into the 18. Jenkins dribbles past the goalkeeper. What a golazo! Goal, goal, goal. Italo Jenkins for Atlanta United.
That goal, this touch around the goalkeeper wasn't even the best part of the play. I mean, it was phenomenal in its own right. But just look at the precision on this ball, holding up just enough to get onto the end of it. Looks like he's going to cut it back. Looks like he's going to take the shot, and just as easy as you like it, around the keeper, in the net. Atlanta United go up 3-0 here, and we're only 18 minutes in.
Take your pick on what part of that play was the best. I'll go with the first touch when he received it in the 18 and eliminated the defender. Just such a great goal from the Oregon State commit, Italo Jenkins.
Yeah, then you can already see Kalonji Pro Profile. They know that something's got to change. Looks like they called for a huddle there right in the midfield. But, yeah, something's got to tighten up here. They're not finding the penetration in the final third, and they're just not finding the defensive matchups in their own third. So definitely a lot of, like we mentioned, there are a lot of legs on the bench. There are a lot of fresh faces here for Kalonji. But, yeah, I'd say, I mean, 3 goals is a pretty rough scoreline to come back from this early in the game. But they just need to get started here. If they can find a goal, maybe they can rally behind it, but another goal or two, we might be looking at a bit of a downer trip home from Atlanta United's very own pitch.
Throw in Atlanta United, Remy Okunlola. Okunlola had a huge senior season at Brookwood High School this fall. Region Player of the Year, played in an attacking role at Brookwood. Okunlola will play right back for Clemson in the fall. Trace Higham. Nickerson foul as Jenkins was trying to run through. It'll be a free kick as Giroux goes down.
Yeah, it looks a little bit more like a Falcons move than a Atlanta United move with the spin move on the defender. So not going to be able to get through the defense that way.
Hey, sometimes you can share that training method a little bit. Beno, picked off by Nickerson. Diakite. Junior Sandoval dropping deeper to try to help KSA Pro Profile get out of their own half cleanly. Up the right side, Camden. Back to Giroux, back to Diakite. Atlanta United's academy today very content to keep things in front of them and look for those counter opportunities. Pretty warm afternoon. They're maintaining that control over their energy levels today so far.
Yeah, and I mean, especially because they've only got the 3 substitutes available on the bench. I mean, most of these guys are going to be playing the full 90, so they're almost going for a bit of a boxing methodology. Just the quick jabs and seeing where the weaknesses are in your opponent.
Alvarez pokes that one away.
Yeah, sometimes going for the press, sometimes sitting back, but here comes the attack the other way.
Great 1-2 with Smith and Sandoval. They can't find the final ball, but Sandoval finds it again in the middle third. Wharton cross to the left to Trace Higham. Gonzalez knowing when to go and when to slow it down. Atlanta United. Gonzalez and Alvarez making Sorty chase them. Alvarez dribbles forward, finds Wharton. Ramos, Higham. Trace Higham has the run of Wharton in front, cuts inside instead. Sandoval dances past one, can't dance past the second one. Junior Sandoval takes it away from Jorge Sandoval. Giroux. Junior Sandoval, that turn that we've seen for so many years in Atlanta soccer. Up the left side now to Cisse. Close down, has to drop it to Barajas. Pavlatsky. 22nd minute. 3-0 Atlanta United. Overhit, big switch. Throw Atlanta United on the far side.
Yeah, it was a better idea than it was a pass, unfortunately. But that's really how they need to try to find the way through Atlanta United. They need to find the switches of play. Good defense with the head there.
Jenkins tried to pop that forward, but Giroux was able to knock it down. Alvarez closes it down, knocks it forward, continues to chase. Giroux now on the right side for KSA. Into the 18, Emanuele Sordi wants to turn to that left foot. Brought down, and it commits the foul, Emmanuel Sordi.
Yeah, tries to post up on the defender, back up into it, back to goal. Fortunately, may have thrown a little bit too much back. It's a question of whether it was going to be the PK or the free kick, but I think the ref got it right there at the end. Very aggressive play from your striker, just trying to find anything to get them on the board.
Well, we saw a football swim move earlier. This one, I think, was a basketball hook move, trying to post up and turn to the right. Might have used that right arm a little too much on the turn. Free kick Atlanta United. Evan Alvarez started his youth career with Peachtree City MOBA. Passes forward to Nickerson. Nickerson pushed from behind by Diakite. Free kick Atlanta United.
Yeah, interesting position taken up by Nickerson. I think this is something that Kalonji's lacking. We keep talking about the fluid front four for Atlanta United. They're not afraid to drop in and help that build-up play. So far, Kalonji's front three, they really haven't gotten involved until the final third, and that's really preventing them from finding that pass out of the midfield to the forward, even out of the defense to the midfield. So with only 7 players back here to try to work that ball forward, Atlanta United showing that it's just not enough.
Smith heads it forward, but he can't find Nickerson. Atlanta United wants to attract KSA's press. That time they tried to draw them forward, hit on the ball over the top. Didn't come off, but it's worked well so far. It's KSA with the ball over the top this time. Long run from Jenkins, and he is fouled.
Yeah, going to ground in the attacking third. Fortunately draws the foul against him. But it's something that we've noticed, and we're talking about getting the ball from the back to the front for Kalonji, and one way that they're trying to do that is they're pushing those fullbacks up to try to be part of that midfield. But then the question becomes, without a true holding midfielder, what happens when someone breaks on the wings? And usually what's happening is it's the center back folding out to try to cover the wide area, leaving a channel into the midfield, or the wide player's just wide open. So So Atlanta United are doing a really good job of finding where the chinks are in Kalonji's armor, and even though that they're not the greatest direct play, ball over the top play team ever in existence, it's working for them very well.
It's different because you're not looking to play off of a number 9. You're not trying to play it for a knockdown. You're trying to play it into space or for a flick on low.
Exactly.
It's really interesting the way Atlanta United's playing this. A little bit different, something that we've seen through some of their teams before. But today, really composed from this academy group. Here comes Remy Okunlola, has an option to the left, finds him. Wharton, top of the 18, shot wide, but Okunlola was fouled in the backwash. That was advantage played. Our referee, Christopher Heinzman, gives the goal kick to KSA.
Yeah, a bit of a ugly challenge there at the top of the box. Good ball forward. Fortunately, just couldn't put it on frame, but another very good opportunity for Atlanta United. But I think the flexibility and the strategy for Atlanta is something you see when you have teams that just have such solid fundamentals as Atlanta United Academy does. As long as you do the basics right, you can remix them in really any way you want to. And I think that's what's separating Atlanta United from the other teams in this league. Potentially Dalton's pretty close. They got some really good, fancy footwork there, but I think Atlanta United's fundamentals are second to none.
I think it's the fundamentals tactically as well, which is something that's very underrated when we talk about player development. When you're able to work on a game model and a style of play consistently, and that's drilled in from U12 all the way up, this is the group that you're really seeing it come through, because guys like Bane Smith have been here from the beginning in 2016. Alvarez pushes forward. Jorge Sandoval. Wharton has the run of Okunlola. What a ball from Wharton to find Remy Okunlola into the 18. Left-footed curler wide. What a ball from Wharton.
That was fantastic. I would love to see a pitch side view of just how tight that gap was to get Okunlola the ball. And I have to guess, I don't think Okunlola was expecting that ball to get to him. Unfortunately, he has a bit of a misstep when he receives it.
Actually, I think he is. That's the thing. He knows that Wharton has that outside of the right foot ball in him. It's good close down by Cisse.
Yeah, I mean, but just think of it as a defender. When you have midfielders that can fit a ball through that type of a gap, there's no space in your defensive area that's safe anymore. You can't expect your midfield to screen for you. You have to be mindful of everything at the same time, and that really limits your ability to get forward the other way.
Beno forward to Barajas. He turns to his right. Plays Sorty into the 18. Left-footed cross knocked down by Alvarez. Corner KSA.
Well, this is going to be how KSA is going to find their way into the game, if anything. Set pieces can be your best friend sometimes, especially against the run of play. And like we were saying earlier, 3-0 is a pretty rough scoreline to come back from, but 3-1 is a much nicer scoreline comparatively. So we'll have to see what he can get here.
In swinging corner from the near side by Kevin Barajas. Barajas, a little bit too much of an in-swing that time. Goal kick.
Yeah, just a little bit too high for the Olympico, but he'll take them however they come.
Saw that happen last night, unfortunately, at Soldier Field. Xherdan Shaqiri with the audacious Olympico out of nowhere for Chicago. If you're wondering why my voice might be a little extra husky today, it's because I was on the air at 11 o'clock last night in Chicago. Pass forward, Atlanta United. Ramos tries to dribble through trouble, can't do it. Junior Sandoval. Ramos comes back to regain possession for Atlanta United. Tries to spin. Do-si-do down by Junior Sandoval.
You can see the intensity coming out for Kalonji Pro Profile. You know that they still want to be in this. They know that they're still not only in the playoff picture, but they're in the title picture, until the scoreline concludes. But they just are lacking that little bit of finesse, especially with Sandoval. He got the ball, played a little too far away from him. And in Atlanta United Academy, if you give him an inch, they'll take a mile. And if you give him a heavy touch, they're taking the ball the other way.
Joel Ramos really feeling it right now. Alvarez gets there first. Jorge Sandoval. What a spin from Jorge Sandoval. Left-footed switch, can't get that through to Nickerson. Thought he had Bane Smith down the right side, but the spin through two by Jorge Sandoval opened the field up.
Atlanta United making this look like a game of FIFA with the right stick action.
Okunlola knocks that away from Barajas. Cisse. Fiore. Former Georgia Gwinnett Grizzly, Jean Maria Fiore. Diakite on the left now. Bain Smith stands him up, forces that back across. Fiore. Giroux. Pavlatsky. Brings it back inside to Diakite, who's stepping forward out of the back line. More. Wharton picks it off. Wharton dribbles to the outside, trying to wait for some reinforcements. Gets into the 18. Good tackle. No, it's not. It's a penalty for Atlanta United.
And I'm going to have to say, goals aren't going to come much easier than that right there. Interesting how Kalonji are trying to play out. They've been pushing those fullbacks up. That was the left back, making his way all the way across the field, basically playing a right back position. Ball was open here on the right side, but just so many gaps here for Kalonji Pro Profile. And you can tell they're getting intense. They know that they need to have something a little bit more physical to get back in the game, but that ain't going to help them at all.
Diakite picks up the yellow card as well after he was stripped by Wharton. Wharton will step to the spot to take this, looking for his second goal of the afternoon. 31st minute. Wharton approaches. Goal, 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 Atlanta United. Wharton with his second of the day.
Yeah, and that's just as calm as you like it. When you are, referee is walking towards the bench, and I got a feeling we're about to have one less coach in the game. But we'll focus here on the PK. When you're taking the spot kick, you really just got to pick your position, slam it on up. Going high is a little risky, but he makes it work. And goalkeeper's not going to have much of a chance to pick that one out. Well taken. Was there a card shown?
No. There was a card shown on the play to Diakite. There wasn't a card shown to the bench, but I don't know if that's a coach or not, an official member of the staff. I think he might have been asked to leave either way. So it looks like he's walking away on the far side. There's really no complaint about the penalty being given. It's just a very difficult day for KSA. They look very disorganized. I'm not used to seeing that out of this group.
Yeah, I mean, this is a team that's used to coming into places and punch them in the mouth. And right now, they are getting rocked the other way. 4-0, still 15 minutes plus stoppage to go in the first half. They're going to have to change so much at halftime if they're going to want to find a way back into the game. But they've got to start with confidence. They've got to start with a calm head. And you'd hope that the bench would be a little bit more level-headed than that.
Diakite trying to make something happen on his own as he dribbles forward. Barajas. Binot. Binot inside, heavy touch. Bain Smith takes it away from him.
Atlanta United with 10 men in the box. They are just absolutely swarming Kalonji Pro Profile whenever they think they're going to find anything.
Yeah, it's an interesting setup because they're dropping numbers behind the ball, but they're not just sitting back either. They're picking their spots to step out and close. Big switch to Camden, defended by Higham. Camden can't get past Higham, has help inside. Pavlatsky curls it to Barajas. One more time to Binot. Binot brings it back to the right foot, tries to switch. Higham intercepts. Pass forward to Nickerson. Now wide to the left to Jenkins. He slipped. Sliding challenge from Giroux. Heavy challenge from Giroux. A little bit because of the slip from Jenkins. Don't think there were any bad intentions there.
Yeah, I mean, I think Jenkins, it looked like the pink cleat, pink boot was just flying off, so unfortunately he lost his footing, and then tackle comes in there. Yeah, I agree. I don't think there was anything super malicious about that. Just unfortunate. Yep, there goes the boot, and there goes the leg.
Yeah, Jenkins slipped, and he couldn't really play there, and Giroux's already committed to it. It's a foul, and there's nothing more. That's good management there from our referee, Heinzman. Drop to Higham. Gonzalez. One more time to Jansen. Jansen over the head of Wharton, but knocked down by Jenkins. Pass forward to Sandoval. Sandoval curls one in for the run of Bain Smith, picked off by Cisse. Back to Pleites. Diakite. Giroux back to Diakite. Barajas curls to his right. Knocked down by Wharton. Barajas gets back on it. Wharton knocks it away from him. Nickerson gets a touch. Gets a second touch. Gabe Nickerson. Wharton crosses. Bain Smith. Goal, 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 Atlanta United. Bain Smith with his second of the day.
5 goals for the 5 stripes, and you can see that the heads are just dropping on Kalonji. They're leaving a lot open in the defense. If you notice, we'll check out this replay first. Just driving down the left side, Nixon able to get his feet back enough to lay this ball across. Another perfect ball just across the face of the goal. And when the goalkeeper's running the other way and you're striking from that right side, you put it on net, it's going in the goal. So absolutely phenomenal from Atlanta United. One thing I noticed is Pavlotsky. We mentioned before he usually plays the holding midfielder. I noticed he was pressing the goalkeeper before that play, and nobody was backfilling into that holding midfield position. And Kalonji, they're just trying to push forward, but hey, the more guys you get up top, the less you got in back, and that's why Atlanta United are up 5-0 right now.
5-0, 35th minute. Atlanta United will go to the top of the table in the UPSL Georgia Premier Division with a win today. Diakite at midfield. Passes forward to Sorty, knocked out wide to Wilfred Camden. Camden wants to turn the corner on Higham. Can't get there, pulls back, cross. Jansen comes out to claim it.
Good move from Jansen always. You want to have a very confident man at the back who's not afraid to get off his line. Some safe pair of hands there in the back for Atlanta United. But I want to go off something you said. Not only are you correct that Atlanta United will move to the top of the table with a win here today, a very well-earned 3 points, but look at their last 2 weeks of play. I mean, already they're leading 5-0 up against KSA, a title contender. Last week, up against a playoff team in North Georgia, they won 7-0. And now, if they win today, next week is going to be their most important game of the season up against Dalton. That could clinch them the title. And I could think of no better hot streak to go into that game on than what we're seeing right now.
Yeah, this group right here for Atlanta United, like I mentioned, every starter on the field headed to college in the fall. This is how they want to close their time with Atlanta United. They want to get a title here in UPSL Georgia, and then they also want to make a run in that national tournament before they head off to college.
Yeah, we're going to take a quick look here, looking at that title before the match today. So some of the Week 9 matches have been completed, but this is what it looks like before kickoff. Dalton, of course, still with another match to play this week as well, but it is a tight race up there at the top.
Outswinging corner on the far side for KSA. Trying to get on the board before halftime. Near post, follow-up shot wide. Tried to hit that off the hop. Junior Sandoval didn't catch it cleanly.
No, they're just looking for whatever they can here. And yeah, speaking of matches, these are the matches that have so far been played this match week number 9. We've got FC Birmingham knocking down Vitatita Academy, who are currently on the relegation hot seat at the bottom of the league. Atlanta City FC taking a surprise victory away at Atlanta Rovers FC, and some more to come. But Atlanta United still looking to increase their league in today's match.
Junior Sandoval forces the turnover from Alvarez. Pavlotsky, top of the 18. Alvarez tracks back to knock it away. Great recovery from Evan Alvarez. Jorge Sandoval squares to his left to Wharton. Wharton has Jenkins. Jenkins holds off the defender, plays inside. Knocked forward, looking for Nickerson. He can't get there. Nickerson battling with Fiore. Pleites to Cisse. Junior Sandoval turns to his right. Pavlotsky. One more time to the right to Camden. Wilfred Camden, the former Life University winger. Inside to Barajas. One more time to Camden. Junior Sandoval, another time to Camden as he comes across to the left. Overload here on the left for KSA. Camden. Camden takes it to the outside. Crosses in. It's a good one. Laid off to Junior Sandoval. Shot saved by Jansen.
Very well worked there from Kalonji, going all the way right to left across the box before finally putting it back in. Probably their best chance of the day. Definitely, it's encouraging to see after what we've seen in the very beginning of the half, just the layoff there. A little bit of a lazy, here you go kind of pass. Good ball across, just taken down, and Sandoval rips one, but can't quite beat Jansen in goal.
Nickerson held up by Fiore as their wrestling match continues. 39th minute, Atlanta United free kick about 15 yards inside the attacking half.
Yeah, and this is going to be a really interesting 6-7 minutes of play here, depending on what the stoppage time looks like, because we've been out in the Georgia summer sun, or Georgia mid-late spring sun, for about 39 minutes now. You can start to tell, especially with the midfielders over from Kalonji, they're getting tired.
Yeah.
The last little bit of finesse on the end of the passes isn't quite there. And if there's ever a time where Atlanta United or KSA may make a mistake leading to a goal, it's probably right about now.
This is something that Atlanta United teams really work on, is how to just maintain. Right now, you have the lead. You have complete match control. Just maintain. Don't allow an opening for KSA. Joel Gonzalez forward to Jenkins. Gonzalez spins it back forward to Higham. Great turn from Sandoval. Wharton forward to Nickerson. Nickerson curls around to his right foot, back to his left foot. Gabe Nickerson lays it off for Wharton, and Nickerson is brought down, though. Free kick, edge of the 18, yellow card issued, and a dangerous opportunity here for Atlanta United to add goal number 6.
Yeah, it's going to be Sandoval picking up the yellow card, and you can see that is just a backside turn trying to just stop him. Ooh.
I think it's Fiore who got the yellow.
I think it was shown to Sandoval, but you're right. It looked like that was Fiore on the play. We'll see if that's cleared up. But, I mean, I will say any Atlanta United fan will know that Atlanta United tend to have their way with the free kicks.
Well, no Thiago Almada today. Almada was dangerous with every single free kick he had in Chicago. We'll see what the academy has dialed up.
We'll have to see if it rubs off a little bit, but
I think Jorge Sandoval is going to want this with the left foot. Ramos is going to want it with the right. They've both got cannons in their boots. But Ramos, right foot, Sandoval, left foot. They've got the secondary wall set up, something we've seen the first team do quite a bit. It's Ramos. Goal, goal, goal. Joao Ramos, Atlanta United 6-0.
And you were just saying there that second wall is crucial because you just prevent the goalkeeper from seeing anything. If that goalkeeper is not a 7-foot, 8-foot giant, he's got to guess where it's going. And when you drive it with that much force to the back post, there's just not enough time for the goalkeeper to get over. Such close distance, such power on the shot. That's Atlanta United going up 6-0. They saw their scoreline after North Georgia last week, and they said, you know what, guys? We can do one better. Already doubling the halftime score, and we're not even at the half yet.
Well, you mentioned it, learning from the first team. That secondary wall is an element that we've seen all season long on free kicks for Atlanta United in MLS play. It's just that extra level of distraction. Huge wall for KSA there, then the secondary wall. The goalkeeper's trying to peek through, and Ramos just blasted into the far side netting.
Yeah, I'm going to make a quick guess here that if we're going to see another free kick in that position, I think he's going to set up the wall a little bit closer to his far post and just trust his eyes on the near. Because, I mean, so far, he tried to expect the close side, and it just didn't work.
Goal kick for Atlanta, 43rd minute. Probably not much stoppage time to end the first half on a warm Sunday afternoon here in Marietta. Jansen will take the goal kick. Play this short, just rolls it forward to Ramos. Ramos dribbling forward, picks up the pace a little bit. Junior Sandoval tries to knock it away. Alvarez will let that one ride for a goal kick.
Yeah, just like you mentioned, just the kind of the soccer IQ coming through for the players of Atlanta United Academy. And they realize that this is no longer a game that they have to control. This is a game that Kalonji are chasing with so little time left in the half. They're basically giving KPP a choice. Do you want to press us and we'll just find a ball over the top? Or we'll just possess it around the back and we'll go get some nice, cool, and refreshing drinks and come back at you for the next half. That's a big ball over the left side.
Sandoval to Wharton, really well worked in the middle third. Wharton, left-footed cross, back post. Bain Smith wanted to take that out of the air. Cisse got there first. Cisse trying to get out of the defensive third. He's fouled by Bain Smith.
Yeah, as rough of a game as this has been for the defensive line of Kalonji Pro Profile, Cisse has quite frequently been the one to cut out the attack, probably independently responsible for about a good 2 to 3 goals not conceded the other way. So full props to him. But unfortunately, this is a game of 11v11, and you need the whole team to be behind you if you want to cut out a team like Atlanta United Academy on the attack. And that is a very tough task indeed.
Remy Okunlola through the middle third, changing gears into the attack. Bain Smith now, big touch to the top of the 18. Smith continues through, cleared by Diakite. Barajas can't rescue it on the touchline. Throw Atlanta. 45th minute now. Seconds remaining in first half regulation. 6-0 Atlanta.
Yeah, looking at the signal from the referee, looks to be about 2 to 3 minutes of stoppage time. Seems about right with the fouls and with the goals that we've had.
Bain Smith step over, lays it off. Okunlola into the 18. Drag down from behind, not going to get the call. Thought he was clipped as he was coming through. Doesn't get the call. KSA is going to have to hold up play here as Okunlola will get checked.
Yeah, we'll watch the replay again. I guess I can see the argument from the referee not giving this away. Potentially that Okunlola played the ball a bit too far in front of him to catch back up to it. That was a foul. I don't think Okunlola was going to get to the ball. Interesting call from the referee, but I'll be completely honest with you. I don't think that's going to change the outcome of the game one way or another.
It's twofold. I think if that's a 1-0 game, maybe a different call is made. It is a heavy touch. You're dead on. Okunlola, the heavy touch is probably what justifies that not being a penalty. KSA in the middle third, Junior Sandoval. Forward to Sorty, out wide to Camden. Diakite joining the attack now. Cross, block, corner, upcoming for KSA.
What a blast of a cross coming from that right side. You could hear with how much power he put on that shot coming across. I don't think that was going to make it to anyone.
Diakite kind of going YOLO here a little bit and just getting forward, and he's been caught a couple of times when Atlanta's been able to break.
Yeah, but I mean, as much as you want to be preaching that this needs to be a team effort to come back, sometimes you do just need a hero. But so far it's not been enough. Ball coming in.
Near post, Wharton knocks it away. Sandoval passing out of the back third for Atlanta. Nickerson run down and fouled. Free kick, Atlanta United at midfield.
Yeah, Nickerson's taken a few nicks today. He's been playing that very aggressive front line, and it's the good kind of aggressive out of an attacking player. It's not the I just gave up a goal and I'm really angry, but it is the sustained physicality you have here. Looks like he was just clipped in the back of the heels. And there's a certain something when you're down 6-0, you tend to be a little bit less careful with where you step against an opponent. Obviously here in the UPSL, priority number one is development of players, and that's making sure that they have very long careers.
Yeah, that's a problem with that kind of a challenge at this portion of the game, because Nickerson is in a good bit of pain getting checked out by the Atlanta training staff.
Yeah, I wouldn't be shocked if this brings us into halftime. Also
Probably
curious
will.
to see if there's going to be any card associated with it. It's not necessarily it didn't look like a malicious challenge, but it looked like I don't want to say lazy, but a little bit of a uncoordinated challenge where, when you're down that much at halftime, it's a little easier to leave a foot out there. Speaking of which, here's our refereeing crew coming into today.
Christopher Heinzman in charge of the crew.
And we got the assistant referees, Kyla Plonsky, Whitney Johnson, and fourth official Asher Morris holding down the fort here. It looks like a bit of a back the thigh injury for Nickerson.
Yeah, if we can take one more look at that foul on Nickerson, I think possibly he was pulling up before. I'm not sure if he got clipped and that's what caused the injury, or if he pulled up just a step before as he tried to turn and get forward. Yeah, it looks like he pulls up. I don't think he's clipped there.
Yeah, that's actually a good call out.
If he's clipped, I think, let me rephrase. I think he's clipped a little bit, but the injury is from pulling up.
Right, like I think he pulled up. The defender wasn't exactly expecting him to slow down, runs into him. That's why he's on the ground. But yeah, we also saw him taking a few knocks there at the far side of the pitch. And unfortunately, that first little nick makes it harder to continue. And it looks like he's actually going to be sitting on the sideline going into the half.
Yeah, it's at the end of the half. I think Atlanta will make a substitution to start the second half. Did they already bring that in?
I think they already brought that in.
Barajas with the cross. Julian Bretus into the game. Cross in looking for Sorty. Jansen gets on it. Julian Bretus, a Haitian youth national team member. He'll play up top for Atlanta United.
Well, it's very good, especially here at home, that unlike last week up at North Georgia, they actually do have a bench they can go to today. Should help a little bit with the late game, end of the match kind of fitness.
It's a tricky spot for Atlanta United right now. We'll talk about it a little bit at halftime with just the rotation between the different squads, with Atlanta United 2 and MLS Next Pro, and just coming off of the MLS Next Flex tournament with the U17s. There's not a lot of wiggle room at the moment for this group, which is a little bit of a U19, but also they'll occasionally bring in some older players with this group as well. Gonzalez commits a foul in the middle third. Free kick KSA late here in the first half stoppage time.
Yeah, I'd expect us to get a few more seconds of play here. Referee should be checking his watch very shortly.
Thought they'd play that into the 18, but they don't. They bring it back to Cisse. Up the left side to Kevin Barajas. Barajas 1v1 with Okunlola. Tries to take him to the outside. Okunlola shuts that door. Last touch is off of Barajas. That will do it for the first half. Atlanta United leading 6-0 over KSA Pro Profile. We'll be back in just a bit on ASMG.
My name is Bruno Kalonji.
Welcome back to the Children's Healthcare of Atlanta Training Ground here in Marietta. Atlanta United leading KSA Pro Profile 6-0. I'm Jason Longshore alongside Steven Johnson. And Steven, what did you make of that first half?
I think Atlanta United came out here with the point to prove at the top of the table. We've been talking that maybe they're not really the championship contenders. Dalton looked good. Rover looked good. Kalonji looked good. Let me tell you something. Atlanta United Academy looks damn good right now. 6-0 into the half. There really has been much time in the game where they haven't looked just 110% in control across the board.
Yeah, I think with this group, and we talked about it a lot in the first half, I've seen this team in UPSL Georgia over the years, and it's been different permutations of it. This group that is starting today is a group that, for the most part, has played together for a long time. There's some newer additions to the academy, like Evan Alvarez, Trace Higgum, guys who came in a little bit later, Gabe Nickerson as well. But when you've got guys like Bane Smith, like Remy Okunlola, Jorge Sandoval has played with this team for a long time, Italo Jenkins, you've got a base. Joel Gonzalez, another longtime member of the Atlanta United Academy. So you have a team spirit and a camaraderie with a group that is all preparing for their next step, college soccer. And as we've seen with Atlanta United over the years, Machop Chol is a prime example. Doesn't mean that these guys, their association with Atlanta United will be over, but it's an opportunity to end this era on the academy side really strongly with trying to make a run in the UPSL national tournament.
Yeah, I mean, with the way that they're playing right now, they are probably the most complete team we have in Georgia. And Georgia is typically a pretty strong region, not national championship contender every time around, but they're no slouches. So the fact they're topping this league and potentially going to be top of the division after today's matchup certainly says a lot for what they have. And as excited as we are for these players to take their next steps, go out into the world and prove themselves on the college front, it's almost going to be a little bit sad to see when, basically all the kids leaving home. Because you're right, they've built up a lot of camaraderie, a lot of the attack. We keep talking about the fluid front four. We talk about the overlapping fullbacks. They basically got like a hive mind kind of understanding of each other. But we're sure that they're going to find success where they go. We'll have to see where they are. Speaking of national finals, may have a bit of a preview of that. Some rumors that it may be on the East Coast this year.
Ooh,
means
spoiler alert.
that Atlanta might just be pretty close to home if they do make it that way. But, of course, let's ground ourselves again. We are here 45 minutes into this Week 9 matchup. Speaking of Week 9, I think the only result we didn't really get to, you guys, was Club the Strongest drawing versus LGSA. LGSA certainly in the relegation battle for now. Only 1 point clear of the drop. Strongest are a pretty good team, but they really need to pick up some points in these last few matches if they want to stay in the Premier Division.
Yeah, right now, Strongest 3 points behind KSA for that number 6 spot, the last playoff spot, which is up for grabs. And as you mentioned, KSA, they're right in the middle of going either way because they have games in hand. They've got a very crowded schedule down the stretch. They could move all the way up. Even with a loss today, they could move up into potentially a bye spot, but they could also fall further down.
Certainly so, and that is almost the double-edged sword that is games in hand. Mm-hmm. They have 3 games basically over the rest of the field, 2 after today, but those are only points on paper, and paper doesn't get you to the playoffs. It doesn't get you to the championship. It just gives you some hope, and we talked a little bit before about Atlanta United. It's an interesting kind of rotation. They have multiple leagues that they're playing in. They got a lot of players, a lot of teams. How do they approach that? Kalonji's got a similar issue, and not only do they play in a few other leagues as well, but they have got those catch-up matches, and there aren't that many weeks left. So trying to finesse their way into the playoff spots, I think, has got to be their number 1 priority.
We've seen a few subs here. Let's kick it for 45 more minutes from Marietta as Atlanta United kicks off. Anthony Sumo into the match for KSA. It's Atlanta United in the black with red trim and KSA in the all-white. Jerawu on it right now, the right back for KSA. Fiore passes forward.
And ladies and gentlemen, welcome to our favorite game of the matchup. Who's subbed in, who's subbed off? We'll let you guys know as we figure that out. But I'm curious to see what attacking members Kalonji start bringing in. They've got a lot. The entire front three is basically their second team at this point. Dante, as an attacking midfielder who really plays off the shoulder of his forwards, is such an important part of the Kalonji Pro Profile attack that I'm wondering if he's going to come into the match to try to at least get something back here.
Ramos spins it out to the right side, looking for Smith, who's playing through the middle now. It's into the hands of Pleites. KSA, big switch across to Mohamed Jerwu. Jerwu knocks it forward. Sumo making a run down the right, pulls up. Jerwu back to Fiore. Diakite. Knocked out wide to the left. Now on the dribble, cutting through the middle. Trying to make something happen here, KSA. Into the attacking third. Cross blocked. Sandoval can lead the break. Pass picked off. Ramos gives it away. Junior Sandoval can't turn. Alvarez takes it away from him. Jerwu settles it for KSA. Wharton almost starts the break. It's back to Jerwu. Up the right side, Sumo turning on Higham. Sumo gets past him into the 18. Anthony Sumo back to the left foot. Shot over the bar.
Yeah, and already those fresh legs for Kalonji Pro Profile opening up the field a little bit. That was new substitution. Sumo typically plays with their right winger. He's back in the spot. And Dante right on the end of that. That is the combination we've seen so many times from Kalonji Pro Profile. Dante is that top of the midfield, can play up, draw defenders in at the top of the box. He can pull back, create space around that zone, and really try to be the thing that confuses the defensive orientation there. Looks like someone else is running in.
They make another sub. Sorty leaving the match early in the second half. And it's Patrick Okonkwo, former Atlanta United Academy player, former homegrown player for the club. He'll go up top. Looks like it'll be Okonkwo and Junior Sandoval up high here with Sumo out on the wing, trying to lead the attack for KSA as they trail by 6. Here comes Sumo into the corner. Sumo cuts to the outside this time. Left-footed curler put into the back of the net. Goal, 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 KSA. And they get on the board here early in the second half.
There's going to be a question of a little bit too little too late, but there is no better way.
Junior Sandoval just took a swing at Johnson trying to knock the ball out of his hand. I'm not sure if the referees caught it. He's trying to knock the ball out of his hands.
Look at the assistant referee. I think he saw something. He may be coming into the fray to help sort things out, but
he took a swing to knock the ball out. I want to be clear. He's not taking a swing at Jansen. We'll take a look at the goal here. Sumo cuts back on the left foot. A great ball to the back post that Junior Sandoval knocks in straight out of the air. Doesn't look like there will be a card in the follow-up. But Jansen, as you see, and Jansen and Junior Sandoval are going to get talked to here to kind of dial the temperature down. As you see in that situation, the team who scores, they're trying to grab the ball. They want to get the play restarted quickly. The goalkeeper wants to slow it down. But the problem is when there is that right-handed swing, I think he caught Jansen in the back of the shoulder. Jansen didn't escalate it further, but they did have a coming together after that. I don't think the AR or the referee saw the right arm swing from Junior Sandoval, who's trying to knock the ball out of his hand, to be clear.
Yeah, and I think that's what the referee's being told right now. I guarantee he's saying I didn't see it directly, but I think we're going to be moving on to basically our last warning for most of the players involved. That'd be such a silly way for someone on Kalonji to get a card, especially a red card, when they just get the goal back. But if they can keep their heads about them, they're showing that little bit of spark that they were really lacking before. Beautiful play down this right wing.
Junior Sandoval knocks it back across to Jerwu. Jerwu dribbling forward. Touches it inside. Long range shot, left foot wide.
And you're seeing Atlanta really retreat back into that shell. You were mentioning it in the first half that they're so happy to get behind the ball and let Kalonji play through them. With the last set of players Kalonji had, especially with a lot of them not really being the normal starters, they were really happy to just let Kalonji try to make those crosses, miss them, and then play out the other way.
Turnover. Atlanta trying to get out of their defensive third. Headed forward by Okonkwo. Sumo can't turn it. Goal kick, Atlanta. Jansen will take the goal kick.
Ooh, something else I want to point out. That looks like a new goalkeeper in for Kalonji Pro profile.
Is that Spencer Sue, the former Oglethorpe Stormy Petrel?
Do believe it is.
Sue might still have eligibility to Oglethorpe. With the COVID year, it's very easy to lose track of who's still got eligibility at the college level. Saw Sue play many times over in Brookhaven. Trace Higham for Atlanta United's academy will be a Stormy Petrel in the fall. We call in his games for the Stormy Petrel TV network. Mustafa Dante, pass picked off. 6-1 KSA trailing Atlanta United. Wharton knocks it forward. Bretus. Jenkins tries to body that one forward into the run of Smith. Doesn't find him. Big switch. Lamine Jaunet, one of the halftime subs for KSA. Jaunet passes forward. Junior Sandoval can't control, but it comes off of Alvarez. Corner upcoming for KSA.
Really starting to build something here in the front. And Atlanta United, this is the same thing we saw with them last week away at North Georgia. It's that when they play so intensely and they make the field so small during the first portion of the game, they can sometimes be left with a little bit of hanging head, some tired legs back here.
I think they've managed the workload pretty well today.
Yeah.
We'll see as it gets on later. Only one more sub on the bench on the field for Atlanta United. Wharton gets a touch there at the top of the 6. Headed forward by Giroux. Higham takes it away. Good work defensively from Trace Higham. Gonzalez out to the left to Higham. Inside to Wharton, back to Gonzalez. Pressure from Sumo. Jansen, left foot, doesn't catch it cleanly, but it's popped back into his hands by Okonkwo. Kyle Jansen over the top for Jenkins. Diakite is going to run this one down and head it back to Sue. Sue rolls it out short to Fiore. Passed into the middle third. We didn't have a number 25 on the KSA lineup roster. Sorry. Squared inside. Dante. Junior Sandoval. Dante. Dante, long range shot. Jansen dives. Didn't get a touch. Goal kick.
Yeah, I almost want to say he had that covered. Really good dive to the side, but
He had it covered, I
think so. And if there's someone I want in net, Jansen's pretty high up on that list. Not only being able to cover the goal, but also has been doing a really good job of commanding the space. But you can really just feel KSA. They're creeping forward here. There's a lot of members who are getting time just at the top of the box. You can see on what was the replay there, that if they can't get it down the wings, they're perfectly happy with ripping some shots from distance. And given a few more attempts, they may really be challenging Jansen time and time again.
Yeah, I think Atlanta United's okay with giving up the shots from outside the 18. It's a lower percentage opportunity, but we'll see how Atlanta defends this as the day goes on. Bain Smith slides over to the right to defend. But here comes KSA. Lamine Jaunet knocked down by Wharton. Jenkins chasing. Knocks it off of Giroux, but Giroux keeps it. Fiore. Passes inside. KSA dribbling forward now. Trying to turn Okonkwo. Out wide to the right to Giroux. Can he run it down? No. And that's the problem for KSA when you get later into this. Expending energy, chasing the game. Not sure how much they have in the tank.
Yeah, and especially with the modern fullbacks, when basically your job is to be both the defender and a winger at the same time, there's someone's legs are going to start to go a little bit. It's definitely those players. But
Wharton's pass knocked down. Free kick opportunity here for KSA as Okonkwo is tripped up by Evan Alvarez.
Looked a little light, but still the legs left out there a bit too long.
It's the experience of Patrick Okonkwo.
Yeah.
He's able to draw that contact and go down to get the free kick in a dangerous spot as we take another look.
Yeah, definitely the fresh legs in the front four for Kalonji. They're helping them just pressure the back line. And a bit of a lazy leg there left out by number 25 on the Atlanta United Academy side.
Yeah, Alvarez leaves that leg out. It's a good move from Okonkwo. And a free kick here with Jeannet and Junior Sandoval standing over it. We've seen Junior Sandoval score goals from this spot going back to Centennial High School, and it's Junior Sandoval into the wall. Throw in KSA. Sumo will leave it. It's like a long throw potentially incoming from Jerwu. Corner of the 18. Sandoval flicks. Higham clears. Diakite is going to run this one down. Atlanta, content not to go chasing right now. Diakite. Junior Sandoval flicks it inside. Ramos knocks it out wide. Falls to Jeannet. 57th minute. KSA trailing 6-1. Jerwu. Junior Sandoval. Attack kick started. Forward to Sumo. Sumo, top of the 6. Wide of the far post. Did it take a touch? Yes. That's why it was wide. Corner KSA.
Yeah, good save there from the keeper. Looked like someone on the back end nearly at the tap at Okonkwo. May have been offside, so that may be why he held up there. But either way, it will be a corner kick opportunity. And Kalonji will find that. Good play in through the midfield. Just the layoff to the right side. Yeah, multiple members coming back, just immediately smothering the attacking opportunity in swinger.
Back post, overhit. Sumo's going to try to run this one down, battling with Jenkins. Comes off of Jenkins. It is a throw right next to the corner flag. Jerwu will take. Steps a little further back to get a better angle. Jerwu. Dropped all the way back to Diakite. Diakite going to dribble forward this time. 40 yards from goal. Step over. Passes forward into the 18. Shot way over the bar from Junior Sandoval. Didn't get over that one.
Yeah, that's a bit high and outside on the shot. Good movement to find their way into the box, and I think it really is that back-to-goal hold-up play that's starting to let them find opportunities. They're not the best opportunities. They are very technical shots and against a very decent, very good goalkeeper. So like you said, low percentage shots, but it is much better than what they were finding earlier. But the problem is when you're down by 5 goals, you have to just keep scoring at such a pace. And realistically, this game may be coming down to more of a how can we salvage the goal differential, as that could be a pretty key factor in the race for the top 2.
Yeah, that's a nice little subplot here for both teams, honestly. KSA would like to flip the goal differential a little bit better than 6. Now it's 5. Bain Smith commits the foul. It'll be a free kick, KSA. Even if they just pull back a couple more goals, that goal differential for KSA right now is at +3. They'd like to get that back into the +6 kind of range that Rovers is sitting with in 5th place.
Yeah, and I mean, even looking at the top end of the table, too, Atlanta United are a goal behind Dalton. This would be an absolute coup for them, because after this game, it's pretty hard to imagine that Dalton would be able to catch up in the goal differential, especially given that next week is the big matchup, Dalton United versus Atlanta United Academy up in North Georgia. And as long as Atlanta United keep this form here today, that could basically be the title battle.
Big break here for Atlanta. Okunlola able to find the handle. Trying to slip that through to Jenkins. He's able to run it down. Bretus on the right side. Cross. Diakite steps in front. Diakite going to dribble forward and kickstart the attack. Junior Sandoval. Sandoval up the right side. Jerwu. Higham closes it down. Back to Junior Sandoval. Big switch from Junior. Jeannet brings it down but can't control it. Okunlola comes away with it. Bain Smith and Okunlola. It's Remy down the right side for Atlanta. Dribbles inside, lays it off to Smith. Smith just couldn't find the handle just a little before him. Sorry, it was Bretus down the right side for Atlanta. That long ball does not find its intended target. Jansen will run it down in the corner. '61st minute, 6-1 Atlanta United leading here in UPSL Georgia Premier Division action on the ASMG network. Alongside Steven Johnson, I am Jason Longshore. Thanks for hanging out with us this afternoon. Bain Smith, 2 goals for him on the day. Wharton, 2 goals for him on the day. Back to Okunlola.
Yeah, I'd say that's a pretty good result from Smith, especially given that on our pregame rosters, he wasn't even listed. He's coming in as a late substitution for Wilson.
Sandoval tries to flick that one forward for Smith or Jenkins and played it right down the middle. Smith, someone that I had a chance to see when Atlanta United faced Aberdeen in an off-season friendly for Atlanta United. It was a lot of Atlanta United 2 players and mostly academy players in that match against a mix of Aberdeen first team and academy players. Smith was someone who jumped out to me that day. Wharton. Pass picked off. Wharton finds it at the second time. Jenkins tries to turn. He's brought down by Diakite. Italo Jenkins headed to Oregon State in the fall. Started his youth career at Inter Atlanta. We have a score update. Dalton 1-1 down in LaGrange against Legends in the 21st minute. Early surprise there.
Yeah, as we mentioned, Dalton being that other team in the top 2 race currently. Atlanta United, Dalton, and Kalonji base and make up that 3-horse race. Legends, a team that's actually currently a point above relegation, so anything they could get against Dalton would be huge for them. And Atlanta United, they've got a job to do here. But after the match, given that that match started a little later than ours, they'll be pretty happy with Legends taking something off their main rivals.
Ben Bartolo's checked into the match for Atlanta United. Gonzalez wins the header. Wharton settles it. Swung over to the right side to Bretus. Atlanta playing with 3 center backs as Okunlola has tucked inside on the right. Bretus is the right wing back. Handball, free kick Atlanta.
Yeah, and it's really just suiting the way they're playing right now. You're even seeing on the breaks, they're not sending the cavalry forward. They're sending 1, 2, maybe 3 players because their main job is just clock management. They've got the soccer IQ to know that they're not the ones chasing the game. If they sit back and frustrate Kalonji, they're going to keep getting more and more reckless in the attack. That's going to give them a goal the other way. So just management's the name of the game.
Diakite heads that back to Spencer Sue. Out wide to the right to Giroud. Fiore. Dante. Down the left side, Cisse. KSA into the attacking third down the right now, Sumo. Sumo, step overs, inside to the left foot. Cross, back post, no one gets a touch. Goal kick, Atlanta.
They're just knocking on the door once again. It's right to middle. It's straight to Sandoval. If he's like 2 inches taller, or maybe has another inch on the vertical, that's going into the net. They're finding their way in, but it's just missing that little bit of finesse, that quality that Atlanta United brought in the first half. Great idea. They're starting to find the holes, but haven't capitalized too much yet. And with the clock ticking away, just under 30 minutes left to play here in the match.
Junior Sandoval has the second half goal for KSA. He's on the ball now. Can't find Jaunet. Bartolo turns. Jenkins. Forward. Ben Bartolo, fresh legs into the 18. Here comes Atlanta into the attacking third. Bartolo pulls it back. Last touch off of Bartolo. Goal kick. Couldn't keep that one in and cut it back to Italo Jenkins.
Yeah, this counterattack the other way is really just a track meet for Atlanta United, and they have got some pretty good sprinters in there.
Here comes KSA up the right side. Sumo closed down, goes back to Gianmaria Fiore. Fiore inside. KSA wants to look to the left. Cisse. Jaunet. Dante knocks it back to Cisse. Inside to Okonkwo, who's dropped into the midfield. Fiore chips this into the 18 behind Junior Sandoval. Bretus Clears it into the blue sky and out for a throw. 66th minute. 6-1 Atlanta United. Fiore passes forward. Okonkwo long-range shot blocked by Wharton. Ramos. Jenkins. Wharton tries to turn back. Sumo commits the foul, then kicks the ball away. Be a free kick for Atlanta. This season, we've seen a little bit of the progression from Atlanta United's academy with Jose Silva, multiple-time Coach of the Year here in the UPSL Georgia Premier Division, moving up to Atlanta United 2 in MLS Next Pro. Steve Cook in charge of that group. Jose Silva, one of the assistants. Ricky Davey actually splits time with this group and really doing a lot of the scouting for the Atlanta United 2 side as well. The overall, I think, verticality of the coaching and coaches moving back and forth, and now you're starting to get former players in the mix like Kevin Kratz with the Atlanta U16s. You're starting to see that development of the Atlanta United way, the Atlanta United style of play and game model really take hold, and I think we've seen that today with this group.
Yeah, certainly so, and you know, it's interesting looking at coaching at this level with so many teams underneath. And there's one thing about setting the mentality for the first team. It's another about changing the organization, exactly like you said, the Atlanta United way. It's certainly taken hold here in the South. We'll have to see if that way is going to be enough to keep them in firm control of this game. I think it is.
Player down as the heat and lots of running back and forth from Diakite might have taken its toll.
Yeah, for all you viewers coming from a little bit north of where we are in Georgia, welcome to the summer. Welcome to late spring.
I think we are officially in the summer now. We've had a couple of stutter steps with that. We're looking at around 80 degrees or so today, and on the turf, going to feel hotter than that.
Oh, yeah.
Diakite gets checked out. We'll continue on the conversation a little bit about the game model, and I think it's something that you're starting to see with clubs in UPSL, but just clubs in general around the U.S. Having your way of playing is a very important thing, and I think you will see coaching changes, and you'll see coaches bring their own interpretation of it, but the idea of a club-consistent way to play from your youngest kids all the way through to whatever your first team is a vital part of development.
Yeah, and I think that's a really interesting dichotomy we see between the different scopes of the teams in the UPSL. I mean, obviously, when you have a team like Atlanta United Academy, you know, this academy team's number one goal, obviously, yes, winning would be amazing. All the players would absolutely love to take a title with them to wherever they go. But this is a team with one organizational focus, and that's to compete at the highest levels of MLS. But with some of these other teams, you have these strange differences between teams that are established like KSA, where they can have their own established style of playing, and potentially some newer teams like Dalton, like Legends, where you really do have to change your style based off of what's there. And it looks like, ladies and gentlemen, we got an updated table for you based off how the matches look right now. I believe this is with a Dalton draw.
That's the live table right now.
So with a win here today, Atlanta United would go into their next matchup versus Dalton completely in control of the table, not only in the points but in the goal differential as well. And there's no better place to be than the driver's seat.
Throw in to Bartolo. Atlanta United Academy next in action next week, Saturday, 3 p.m. up at Dalton Stadium. Number 1 versus number 2 in the Premier Division in UPSL Georgia.
Yeah, potentially one of the most long reigning teams here in the UPSL versus the Starlets, who just promoted from Division 1, smashing records along the way, now trying to stake their claim.
Big bomb looking for Sumo. Jansen at the top of his 18, catches. Smart from Jansen too, the body control to make the catch and fall back into his 18.
Yeah, but you got to be inch perfect on the grab there. I think he just waited just for it to come over the line, fell backwards. Fantastic move.
Kalonji. The falling back is smart. It's almost like framing a pitch by a catcher. Really a smart move there from Jansen, because you're never going to get that called against you when you fall backwards into the 18. Cisse on the left for KSA. Into the 71st minute now. 6-1 Atlanta United. Jaunet pulls that back. Dalton has taken the lead in LaGrange over Legends, so they are up 2-1 now, late in the first half. So that live table has already shifted. Dalton will remain on top with a win today. And it'll be 1 versus 2, but the other way around next week. Looking for Sumo down the right side, goes over the end line. Goal kick, Atlanta United.
Yeah, I'd be shocked if that doesn't update a few more times as the game goes out. With Dalton United having the most powerful offense here in the league, currently averaging about 3.4 goals per match, which is top of the table here in the UPSL. Up against, I'd say, a pretty porous Legends United. They've got 18 goals against, 9 goals for. Absolute barn burner of a match. I believe we do have coverage of that game going on elsewhere, so do be sure to check out not only our socials, but of course elsewhere on our YouTube channel, where you can catch that action going on just right here. About to say, if you want to be a really cool, put one of the games on one side, put one on the other, and give yourself a nice UPSL day.
Multi-screen action right now. Kirk Marsley into the game for KSA. Junior Sandoval's day is done. Battle on the right side. It'll be a free kick for KSA, about 40 yards from goal, out wide on the left.
Well, definitely no wall for this one. Too far out to go for a shot on goal. We'll be looking to just hang one in towards that back post.
Cisse delivers to the top of the 6. Gonzalez flails at it, got a touch. Atlanta trying to get out of their defensive third. They do as Wharton runs it down. Jorge Sandoval battling for it with Wharton, but it's Diakite who comes away with it. Giroux back to Fiore. Across to Cisse. Up the line to Lamine Jaunet, former Atlanta United 2 player. Cross one more time to Giroux. Sumo can't turn on Higham the first time, goes inside. Hits the through ball, over hit looking for Okonkwo. Great work by Sumo. Just couldn't time that with the run of Patrick Okonkwo, and it's a goal kick for Atlanta United in the 74th minute.
A little bit of good Samaritan work there from the Kalonji front line. Know that they need to get the ball back to the keeper in as speedy a fashion as possible.
Might have had ulterior motives with the good Samaritan work there.
Give him the Boy Scouts badge. He's going out of his way to help the goalkeeper. Absolute model citizen.
Absolutely. Cross. Goal kick. Game petering out a little bit as the Heat taking its toll in the 74th minute. And also the scoreboard taking its toll. Atlanta United jumped out to a very quick lead, and they've been able to maintain it. KSA pulled one back early in the second half, but the legs are really starting to fade. I think more so for KSA, but for both teams.
Yeah, it's just a little bit easier for your legs to get a little weaker when you're down by 5, and it's a bit easier to have a spring in the step, especially if you're hunting for a goal here, as the Atlanta United front players are. But I think at this point, you really have to figure out what is each team playing for. Obviously, Atlanta United are playing to show that they have the fitness, that they have the mentality to finish a game out, even when they start 5-star early half, that they're still able to completely maintain control of this back half. Obviously, one in the goal against column's never going to be nice, but
through ball for Jorge Sandoval. Sandoval hits the volley with the left foot. He's capable of that spectacular kind of a play. And with a 6-1 lead, you can go for it.
Yeah, I mean, he's go for a little bit of a snapshot moment there. I think he could have taken a little touch, but sometimes when you're feeling it, you just got to go for it. But one thing I want to focus on is so obviously Atlanta, they're looking to close out the game. I think Kalonji, they're really just trying to figure out what do we do next time we face Atlanta. A great ball down the right.
Sliding challenge from Gonzalez, doesn't win it. Jaunet tackled on the end line by Evan Alvarez. Alvarez's pass hits the referee, Christopher Heinzman, so it'll be a drop ball back to Atlanta at the top of the 18.
Finding some space down that right wing. That's how we saw in the beginning of the first half, and that's how we got the initial ball into the middle, getting Sandoval to knock that one back in with the studs. But yeah, I think that right now, especially with your closer to your quote-unquote starting lineup in here for Kalonji Pro Profile, this is a team that's going to make playoffs. They need to know, what do we do next time we're up against Atlanta United? And I think that the second half so far has been a pretty good indication of how you take the fight to them.
Jorge Sandoval pulls it back, showing the technical ability. Higham, Wharton, Diakite intercepts. Knocks it back to Fiore. Very busy schedules ahead for both of these teams, probably a little more so for KSA. Big switch, Higham gets a touch, trying to clear, can't. Sumo finds it, Jansen can't win it, and it's a goal. KSA pulls one back, it's 6-2. Higham unable to clear the bouncing ball. Looked like Jansen might have gotten a touch, but Sumo gets the goal.
Yeah, a bit of a calamity there at the back from Atlanta United will lead to Kalonji Pro Profile goal. You don't always need to have the greatest skill move in the world. You just got to be in the right place at the right time. Tired legs, unfortunately, make not quite the cleanest plays. Ball in across. They'll take them any way they come. And now we're only 4 goals separating these two sides. 15 minutes still in the game, so not no time, but not a lot of time here.
Yeah, it's still a very large mountain for KSA to climb. Atlanta United just needs to tighten things up a little bit. That was a good ball from Fiore that Higham had to really deal with because Sumo was making the run in behind, but Higham couldn't keep that one out. Diakite squeezed off the ball by Wharton and Jenkins and Sandoval, and it's Sandoval in the break. Run down by the fresher legs of Lamine Jaunet. Jaunet tries to keep it in the corner. It rolls over the touchline. Throw Atlanta United deep in the corner.
Yeah, you can see him turn on the afterburners there to chase him down. Good defensive push there. And yeah, I think it's definitely a little bit of a reach to say that Kalonji are still in this matchup. I think that ended probably right about halftime. But right now, they just got to try to get themselves in the best mindset possible. Like you mentioned, there are a lot of matches from the play over versus North Georgia next week. They've still got to play City, they still got to play Legends, and they still got to play Rovers. So any amount of momentum you can bring into the back half of the season to just secure as high of a playoff spot as possible, that's got to be the goal right now. And another goal or two to come home with is something to make you feel good on the ride home. It feels way better than the goose egg the other way.
Long run for Jaunet there, feeling the effects of it, but he's going to be able to continue. Sandoval, Jenkins fighting for it. Jenkins hip check down. Free kick, Atlanta.
Yeah, there's just too many people on the ground. When you have 2 defenders both down on the ground and no ball has been won, there's probably going to be a free kick in there somewhere. So
yeah, I think it was Sumo who hip checked Jenkins as he was trying to get on the end of that. So you've got Sandoval and Ramos standing over it. Ramos with a goal from a free kick in the first half. This is a very tricky angle, but Joao Ramos has this kind of a play in his locker if he's feeling squirrely. Ramos, back post, Sue goes for it. I don't know if he got a touch. He did. It's going to be a corner on the far side.
Yeah, I was about to say, this is probably the first time in the match that Sue's really been tested. And a corner in a free kick like that, it's just so awkward. There's that little bit of room for him to maybe curl it over you, but it's probably going to go across your box. And you just got to take charge. Trying to get the punch out there. I think he just missed, but we'll have to see whether or not he can command his box. It's crowded a little bit there in the front, but
Sandoval will take. Rolls it short. Gets it back. Jorge Sandoval into the 18. Left-footed shot blocked down by Fiore. Sandoval will run it down. Inside to Bretus. Bretus able to find the handle. Back heel. Has help out wide on the right. Cross. Too much for Jenkins to get to. Sue lets it ride. Goal kick. But he's got to run this one down in the 80th minute. Lots of games in a variety of leagues as well coming up for these players for KSA. And they're going to have to manage the workload across a few different competitions. This Atlanta United side, this group, pretty intact. This is going to be the core of the U19 group. There's a couple of other players as well, like Ty Wilson, somebody that we've seen in this league quite a bit. They'll be joined by some players potentially from Atlanta United 2 or up from the U17s. But this core, this is their priority. That'll help them a little bit with the focus down the stretch. Higham wins the header, throw KSA.
Yeah, and that just gives you so much more familiarity with the guys you're playing with, especially in the attacking build-up. Just knowing what the people around you want to do and what they typically do just helps you get away from that defender, find that 1-2. It just opens so many more opportunities, and it's got to be one of the main things Atlanta United Academy are going to be relying on, especially this deep into the season, to be the difference maker for them.
Header one on the backside by Julian Bretus. Back to Okunlola. Wharton heads it on. Can't quite find the teammate up the flank. Bartolo was lurking. Sue will chase this one down for KSA in his own half. Giroux. So we have an issue on the far side. Cramping up. Again, the heat. One of the first really hot days this season. I believe that is Cisse. Covered a ton of ground in the first half.
Yeah, and this is just where exhaustion from playing multiple matches in a week can definitely get to you. Hopefully it takes as much time as it needs to get back up. Once again, UPSL Premier Division, job number 1, preparing players for the future, and that means taking care of them now. So hopefully he gets back up. While we wait on that, though, I do have an update from around the league. Dalton United, off a penalty kick against Legends, have increased their lead to 3-1, putting them in a pretty comfortable spot, which should mean, as long as Dalton are able to see that game through, they're going to be the ones holding the advantage when they invite Atlanta United to their house up in Dalton, Georgia, to see who's going to potentially be taking the title this season. Atlanta United, though, this is still a heck of a game to be going into that rivalry matchup with.
A lot of momentum from Atlanta United going into that. Really cool moment on the opposite side of the field just there. Jorge Sandoval and Anthony Sumo having a conversation. Sandoval's played with KSA on the youth side. He's been an Atlanta United player during his time in UPSL, but lots of interaction between the clubs. We've seen multiple KSA players make the move to Atlanta United 2 and MLS Next Pro. It started with Tony Tiente last year in USL Championship, and he's been joined by guys like Karim Tamimi, who's off to a great start in MLS Next Pro, looking like he's averaging about a goal a game right now. Kofi Twumasi, one of the best holding midfielders in MLS Next Pro nationally. Lots of interaction between the two. Tamimi, Tiente, and Twumasi all coach with the KSA club on the youth side. So lots of interaction between these two clubs. It is definitely a rivalry, especially in these games. And KSA not going to be happy about the scoreline today, but the brotherhood between the two clubs definitely growing as you see more players kind of go both ways, because Barajas, Okonkwo, guys who've been with Atlanta United in the past.
Yeah, and I think that, at this point you can basically call Kalonji Atlanta United Academy. There's so much that interaction, and seeing players go between the different levels not only helps KSA, not only helps Atlanta United Academy, but I think it really ups the level of competition across the board here at UPSL. Rising tides lifts all boats, as it were.
Yeah, it's something that I think in some parts of the country it doesn't always work the way that it should. Here it's starting to, and I think in the past maybe it didn't work as well as it could have between KSA and Atlanta United, especially at the youth level, where KSA teams are very, very competitive and maybe a little reluctant for players to make that move over to Atlanta United. But now you're seeing the pathways form, and when guys are coming through maybe more towards the adult side of their careers with Atlanta United too, and UPSL Georgia will be another spot where I think you'll see players move back and forth. It's good for the game because the opportunities for the players to make the move over to Atlanta United, that will be paid back in the long term to KSA, whether it's through coaching, whether it's through just exposure. It's a big part of growing the game across all levels. As Atlanta United tries to get into the attacking half, Wharton decides not to continue chasing that one down in the 85th minute. A lot of running from Wharton, headed to Lipscomb in the fall. An underrated D1 program at Lipscomb. And a lot of these guys for Atlanta United are going to go into freshman years at powerhouse teams across different levels. North Georgia, I think, one to keep an eye on. Multiple Atlanta United Academy players going there. Sandoval, the one in the game today. Trace Higham going to D3 Oglethorpe, North Georgia D2. Oglethorpe has been a powerhouse in the SAA. And then guys going to schools like Clemson with Okunlola, Kentucky with Gonzalez and Bain Smith, Oregon State with Jenkins, Alvarez in the Sun Belt with Coastal Carolina. The Sun Belt's going to have a lot of these guys playing in the fall with Kentucky and South Carolina members of the Sun Belt in men's soccer.
Yeah, potential for some very friendly or unfriendly chats before the matches with a lot of players knowing each other, but fun for those. Ooh.
Cross in, flicked away by Alvarez. Higham volleys that clearance. Jenkins finds it the second time and just clears it into the attacking half. Yeah, we're starting to see that more and more as Atlanta United's roots extend in the academy, really through a full generation of players now, where lots of guys, whether they're at Georgia State, Georgia Southern, South Carolina, obviously, as Kyle Jansen falls on that with Tony Annan now in charge of the Gamecocks. Quite a few Atlanta United players there, and it is a friendly rivalry on the pitch when those guys meet. And it's a huge opportunity for the younger players in Atlanta United's academy to go see those games and see what they can get to at the next level. Pressure from Sumo forces a wayward clearance by Jansen. Alvarez steps in front of Sumo on the follow-up. Higham plays it long into the run of Jenkins. Diakite, good turn there to keep it. Jenkins battling with him, but Diakite comes away with it. Fiore, Jaunet, Giroux. 88th minute, 6-2 Atlanta United. Jaunet, couple of deflections. Jenkins joins the deflection party. Wharton knocks it forward to Jenkins, out wide to Sandoval. Really tricky little ball by Wharton to find Sandoval out wide. Jenkins couldn't control. Been really impressed with Wharton today, the number 29 for Atlanta United. Gonzalez brings that one down. Sandoval back to Wharton. Gonzalez. Lots of experience here in UPSL Georgia for Gonzalez. Ramos out wide to the right. Bretus cutting inside. Couldn't get the full cut across as he's run down. Kirk Marsley wins it for KSA on the far side. Big switch to Jaunet, who chests it down. 89th minute. Lamine Jaunet inside to the left foot. Shot saved by Jansen. Good footwork from Kyle Jansen.
Yeah, way to bring the ball around to take the shot, but fortunately with the ball low right to the goalkeeper, keeper like Jansen's going to be able to hold on to that 9 times out of 10. Maybe it's a little bit higher. You'd hope for a bit of a deflection, but this goalkeeping will get you a very long way in this league. Very
technical goalkeeping crew across the Atlanta United club as a whole. We've seen a lot of the Atlanta United Academy goalkeepers in the last couple of years due to injuries get time with first-team training. Seen guys like Elijah Buford, who's come through the academy and had some huge moments in the academy and Generation Adidas Cups. He had a great year at Riverwood High School. He trained with the first team a lot last year due to all the injuries at that position. It's been the same this year with guys getting opportunities to join in training during the week. Sandoval to Wharton. Wharton, maybe one more sprint in those legs. Pulls it back and gets clattered by Sumo. Could hear it up here. It's a yellow to Sumo. Just completely unnecessary from Anthony Sumo, a veteran of this league.
Yeah, after a few of the conversations in the early portion of the half, I think he's pretty lucky to get away with that one with a yellow.
I am too.
And unfortunately, just, when you're down late, when it's been a hot, wild game and you've been running around for so long, it's easy to just leave one of those late challenges.
Sumo's very fortunate there because it looks like it's a scissor tackle on Wharton, and it's just unnecessary at this point in the game at 6-2. Just seconds remaining in regulation. 3 minutes of stoppage. I wonder if that might slide down now after that kind of a tackle.
Yeah, I mean, the game's fairly well. Well, there's the 90-minute whistle, but the game's pretty well decided.
Ramos just dribbles that one, draws the contact from Dante to knock it out. Yeah, Atlanta United will just try to slow this one down and get out of here without anybody else getting hit like Wharton just did. Higham. One of the newer faces in the Atlanta United Academy, Trace Higham. That throw, the wind catches it, knocks it back over the touchline.
Yeah, not only are Atlanta United going to want to get out of here with any sort of injuries or whatnot, keep in mind that UPSL is a full league play. If you get a red card, that's a suspension that you're going to have to serve, and especially for a team like Kalonji when they got so many, and a fine. Not to mention a team like Kalonji who have so many games left to play. You need to make sure that you've got your team ready to pull as many points as possible.
Lamine Jaunet dribbling forward, trying to find one more goal to help that goal differential. KSA knocked out wide to the left. Cross knocked down, corner incoming. '92nd minute, about 90 seconds left. 6-2 Atlanta United, corner played short. Cross in to the penalty spot. Sumo can't control. Diakite might have a go here. Bretu steps out to prevent that. Fiore swings it over to the left side. Cisse. Left-footed cross in, flicked on. Higham knocks it down. Jansen can't keep it from going out for the corner. Higham had Sumo lurking behind him.
Yeah, just trying to find whatever little touch on the ball. Good from Jansen, who isn't able to keep it in, but is able to cover the far post. It's always one of the toughest things when you get a ball coming across your box. You have your weight slanted to one side, and then you got to dive the other. Good technical goalkeeping there.
In swinging corner, near post, flicked on, back post. Sumo over the bar.
That's got to be the one that hurts the most. That was a wide open goal. Unfortunately, just can't keep it down. And I think with that, as we tick over into just about the 3rd minute stoppage time, I don't think we got too much more soccer to play here today. I think the story's already been pretty well written.
Log that one down as we take another look at it. The flick on to Sumo from the top of the 6 just heads it over the bar. One of the leading scorers regularly in UPSL Georgia, Anthony Sumo, doesn't get the 3rd for KSA. 6-2, seconds remaining. We'll tell you what both teams have coming up and give you one last look at the table before we go. KSA knocks that back. They can't connect on the pass. And there is your final whistle. Atlanta United goes to 6-1-1 on the year. 19 points with a 6-2 win over KSA Pro Profile, who falls to 3-3 on the season.
Yeah, I mean, that was just a very well-controlled game from Atlanta United. Sure, the second half wasn't the same fireworks that there were in the first half, but they got the job done in the first half, and they saw it through in the second. Atlanta United looked like the most complete team in the UPSL right now. Though I do have to say, I wonder how this match would have looked if Kalonji were on full strength from the first whistle. But I think, if anything, that gives us more to look forward to when the playoffs comes around, because I'd be shocked if these teams don't go deep.
Here's the live table. Dalton United leading right now in LaGrange on the road over Legends. They'll go top, will stay top if they hold on to that win, as you would expect. Atlanta United in second. Both teams really putting their claim on the bye positions for the playoffs. FC Birmingham solidly in 3rd, North Georgia in 4th, Atlanta Rovers in 5th, KSA remain in 6th. They do have games in hand, and as we look at the schedule coming up, it's KSA who will be playing North Georgia next week, while Atlanta United goes up north to Northwest Georgia to face Dalton. That's going to be at 3 p.m. on Saturday afternoon at the Dalton Stadium. 1 versus 2 in the Premier Division next Saturday.
Yeah, that's got to be the one to decide the title. Atlanta United, they need to roll in there and they need to get a win because as you saw on that live table, there's a 1-point advantage for Dalton as long as they can see that game out. So Atlanta United with everything to play for going up north. I think it's going to be one of the best games we see this season. But like you said, I think those two are clear top two going into playoffs. Interesting battles down the table. Kalonji do need to fight off Club the Strongest. Potentially a late surge from Sadie or someone else for that last playoff spot, but they've got the potential. They really just need to, manage their squad, make sure they got the legs, and actually get into the playoffs.
Match day 10 in the UPSL Georgia. There's your schedule highlighted by the Dalton Atlanta United match at 3 o'clock on Saturday. KSA at 6 hosting North Georgia.
Yeah, and we talked a lot about the top of the table matchups, but we got a pretty interesting battle here at the bottom. Only 1 point separates 11th place from 9th place, and 11th place is the one that gets relegated. LGSA currently in 9th, up against Venetito in the hot seat in 11th. That could be a big one to see who gets to stick around in the Georgia Premier Division going into our next season.
One other storyline, make sure you're following all of the UPSL Georgia social media channels for the rescheduled games that KSA has left. They have to play Rovers, they have to play City, they have to play Legends, and they're running out of time to do it. So that's going to be more games in a short period of time, and this is a team and this is a roster that plays in a lot of different competitions during the week. We'll see how KSA is able to manage that one. They've got some work to do to hold on to that playoff spot in 6th or potentially climb further up the table. Weren't able to pull that off today, though. It was a strong performance from Ricky Davies' Atlanta United Academy side. They jump out to a 6-0 lead in the first half. They end up holding on to win 6-2 through 90 minutes today. For Stephen Johnson, I'm Jason Longshore. Thanks for joining us on the ASMG Network. More action to come, games going on all week long. Make sure you're following all the socials for the schedules. Adios, everybody.
This has been a presentation of the UPSL. Any use of this broadcast without the written consent of the Atlantic Soccer Media Group is prohibited.